Shadowkeep is just a few weeks away, and when that DLC comes out, there will be some amazing new weapons and armor for players to obtain. However, there are some things available right now, and in this video I'm going to go over the top 5 weapons that I'd recommend players have as we head into the Shadowkeep DLC. Now, a lot of these weapons here are things that you can do via quests or different pinnacle rewards, and for many of these I do help players get them on live streams here on YouTube. So if you're watching this video right now and you're having trouble getting some of these weapons, make sure you guys are subscribed, make sure you have notifications on. Even better, join the Discord, because if I can't help you directly, there's a lot of really nice players there that will give you a hand. Some of these weapons are really tough to get, some of these are more time consuming, but all of them are very much worth the price of admission, and ones that I'd recommend for both PvE and PvP content. So with that out of the way, let's jump right into it. These are the top 5 weapons I'd recommend players have as we head into the Shadowkeep DLC. So let's jump right into it. The Recluse submachine gun is one of the best weapons in Destiny 2 right now. This thing will dominate in both PvE and PvP. You'll notice that for many of these weapons, they are multi-purpose, and that's part of the reason why I recommend them. They're useful in any game mode so far in Destiny 2. Now, to get this, it is a pinnacle reward, and you do have to reach 2100 Fabled in comp. So for that reason, I know this is a very challenging weapon to get, but it is very much worth it. Now, like I said, I have done live streams here on YouTube, and I've helped out a bunch of people get this, but I'd be remiss if I misled you guys. I myself am an average player for Crucible, especially when it comes to comp, but the players that I play with are super good at this game. So I want to make sure, if there's one takeaway, please go to the links in the description. These are players that help on Xbox, on PS4. They're aspiring content creators, and I want to thank them so much for helping me out with those live streams. I couldn't do it without them. Now, why is this weapon so good? Mainly because of this perk right here. It's called Master of Arms. Kills with any weapon improves damage for a short time. Now, even though that doesn't last very long, you can string things together pretty quickly, and you will melt enemies super fast. This is a great weapon to use for ag clearing. So you notice here that once I kill one guy, I can have that Master of Arms, and I can just keep going through and taking these guys out, no problem. If you throw a major spec on here too, you can shred orange bar enemies just as fast as well. So that's why this weapon is so good. It also looks really cool too. It has one of the coolest looking effects in the game, but you'll find this weapon to be really useful in any game mode that you're playing. So make sure you guys jump into comp. I know it's tough to do, but you can do it. When Shadowkeep comes out, it may be a bit easier to get this because of the changes they're making to it as far as not dropping below certain thresholds, but the Recluse is still going to be a really good weapon to use. They are changing the ricochet rounds. I don't find that to be something that would deter players from getting it. Recluse is going to be something you want to use and have it for your energy weapon slot in any game mode you play. So that's one of the weapons I'd recommend as we head into Shadowkeep. To this day, the coolest moment for me in Destiny 2 has been the quest to get Whisper of the Worm, the exotic sniper rifle. And you can see I have it equipped right now. This weapon came out during the Warmind DLC back in year 1, and while it has undergone some changes that have drawn a lot of ire from the community, I find this weapon to be really efficient even to this day. As a matter of fact, with the changes coming to Lunafaction boots and rally barricades, you can make the case that this weapon will be once again at the forefront for boss DPS, because the signature perk on this, White Nail, pulls ammo from your reserves directly, so you can keep firing until you run out of ammo. Now, to get this weapon, you have to do a secret mission over on Io in Lost Oasis, and that's where I am right now. To do this, you have to wait for a public event to happen over in this area. Any public event will do. It can be the Taken public event or the Cabal one. But when that happens, there will be a secret yellow bar enemy, and there will either be a Taken Knight over in this cave system back here. There could be a Fallen Captain over in this little cave system as well, or a Taken Cabal enemy underneath the tree. Now, coincidentally, all those enemies are from Destiny 1, and you may recognize them if you are veteran players. But when you take that enemy out, a portal will appear. If you go to this portal, you can activate it, and that will take you inside a secret mission that does have a 20-minute time limit. It is a challenging mission, but it is also a very fun mission. The music is awesome, the aesthetics are amazing, and like I said, for me, it's my favorite moment so far in Destiny 2. Make sure you have a fire team. You can do it solo, but it is difficult. I will link a video in the description as well on how to do that mission solo. But when you get that done, you will get this exotic sniper rifle that is amazing for boss DPS. Whether it be Dolan Karu in Shattered Throne, Morgoth in the Last Wish raid, or even some of the new raids upcoming, I bet this will be a great weapon to use against the bosses during the damage phases. Once you get the weapon, that will unlock the heroic version for this, and you can find that directly on your map. This is how you get the exotic catalyst for the weapon, and I definitely recommend players get that because it increases the damage significantly. When you have the catalyst, if you aim down the sights, you'll notice that the whispered breathing perk becomes activated, and I believe that increases damage by roughly 65 to 70%. So while this is an awesome weapon without it, with that catalyst, it is an absolute game changer, so make sure you do that. You can also get a really cool ship via the heroic version, and I don't have it on my character right now, but if I look at my collections here, you'll notice that if you go to Season 3, you can get this ship right here, 1,000 Wings. In my opinion, it is the coolest looking ship in the game, albeit it is a tough ship to get because you have to do a couple different secret things via that heroic version. So no doubt about it, Whisper the Worm, I definitely recommend players get it. I think this is going to become, once again, one of the best weapons to use, and you may see a lot of world first raid attempts using this weapon again because of those changes I mentioned to Lunafaction boots, rally barricades, and automatic reloading. So get Whisper the Worm. If you don't have it, it's a relatively easy mission to get done now if you have a fire team because it is only 385 to 400 light. So let me know if you guys have this weapon. Let me know if you think the changes to it will be useful as we go into Shadowkeep. One of the best weapons in the game, certainly one of the best weapons to use for your exotic heavy weapon slot. Another power weapon that I'd recommend is the 21% delirium machine gun. This is a pinnacle reward for Gambit, and anybody who watches this channel knows that I'm not a huge fan of that game mode. However, it is worth it to slog your way through there to get this weapon because it is so good to use. Now, the reason why this is very good is because of the killing tally and the overflow perks. Like a lot of the different pinnacle rewards, these feel like exotic weapons because they have those unique traits to them. This weapon has a lot of rounds in the magazine and a very high rate of fire. Even though it has a lower impact, when you couple that with a killing tally, this can actually do a lot of damage, and you can see there that I've used it quite a bit. I use this almost all the time during the 0 hour mission, for instance. I throw a boss spec on because of that mission. I want to do more damage versus vehicles, but I'm curious of which boss spec or which mod you guys use on your 21% delirium. Let me know in the comments below. Now, I like this weapon a lot. I find this to be one of the better machine guns, and that is including the exotic Thunderlord. I find this to be a bit more useful when it comes to different weapon loadouts. And I think part of the reason why I recommend this and other weapons is because of the loadout combinations you can have. It's hard to gauge a weapon in a vacuum. You have to think about the different combinations and loadouts you can use with that weapon. But you'll notice right now I have killing tally, and that will increase the damage quite a bit. You can have up to ×3. So this is going to be a great weapon to use. I find it to be one of the better power weapons. I know it's not necessarily the best boss DPS, even with a killing tally, overflow. The low impact is not going to be great to use for bosses, but this will do a lot of good damage here. It's an arc weapon, so keep that in mind as well if you're looking for a good arc heavy weapon. I like this weapon quite a bit. I know there's also some really good options as far as heavy weapons. You could go with things like spike grenade launchers like Swarm of the Raven, the Wendigo grenade launcher. This is a pinnacle reward for Vanguard. But I like the 21 Delirium, and that's partially because there's not many machine guns, and I find this to be one that stands out among the ones that are in this game. So definitely recommend getting it. If you don't have that, jump into Gambit. Make sure you play through there. I know it can take a while to get it, but it is worth having as part of your heavy weapon loadout. 21 Delirium, go for it. You won't regret it. The exotic pulse rifle Outbreak Perfected is one of the better weapons to use right now in Destiny 2. This is a pulse rifle, and for that reason it will do well in Crucible. Yes, there are some better options, but the fact that this has a very predictable recoil pattern, it is a 450 RPM, and you also have the Nanite perk here for this weapon. You will get double kills pretty efficiently with this, and it will do well in Crucible. But where it truly shines, though, is in PvE content, which is counterintuitive given that this is a primary weapon. You'd be hard-pressed to find any better weapon as far as kinetics for boss DPS. Many raid teams are using this versus Gowron, for instance, in the Crown of Sorrows raid. So this is a multi-purpose weapon, useful in PvE, useful in PvP, and it's a great weapon to get for players as we head into that new DLC. Now, to get this, there are some steps you have to do, and that culminates with the 0 hour mission, and you can access this mission via the farm. I will link some videos in the description on how to start this. I will also link Dado's guide on the different nodes, But like I said, there's not much you have to do before this, and you'll get to the 0-hour mission. Now right now I'm in the heroic version. The heroic version is how you get the catalyst and how you upgrade the catalyst, but the normal version is how you get the weapon itself. This is a timed mission, and each area has to be completed in its entirety in order to unlock and progress. So make sure you have a fire team for this. I have helped out a bunch of people get this weapon via live streams. I think we're at like 300 people right now we've helped out. So don't hesitate to jump into those. Once you kill every enemy, that will unlock this gate and you can keep going through. The hardest part about this is the timer on it, no doubt about it. The final boss room is hectic. You want to have a good loadout for that. I will link my solo guide on this too. Make sure you have a good loadout. Make sure you have a fire team. That will give you the Outbreak Perfected Pulse Rifle. Like I said, the profile for this is pretty big, so that's the only downside to it in my opinion. But it's very, very good weapon. It's one that is going to be awesome in any game mode you pick. And you want to use this without any hesitation at all. I think it's one that I'd recommend to anybody. So Outbreak Perfected is one of the weapons I'd recommend. Let's move on to an energy weapon and see what we have in store in this next part of the video. Now last but certainly not least, we have the Jotun fusion rifle. This is an exotic, it is an energy weapon, and it is one of the brand new weapons in Destiny 2. This was from the Black Armory DLC for Year 2, and you can only get this via the Berguzia Forge. I'll get to that in just a moment here. But this is an awesome weapon, and one of my favorite ones in Destiny 2. I only wish it had a Mega Man blaster or a toaster ornament because of how it looks. Now, for this weapon, it has Charge Shot, that is the intrinsic perk. You can notice there that the impact for this is nearly maxed out. You also have the shield disorient, so if you're hitting enemies with the same shield, you will disorient enemies close to them. This will smack most enemies in the game, and I use this in Gambit, I use this in PvP, PvE. A lot of players kind of get mad at this in PvE, or PvP rather, because of how effective it can be. The impact is so high that you can take people out of their super really quick, and it is pretty easy to use. Now, you don't have much ammo for it, but if you combine that with a Fusion Scavenger perk, you can see why this would be so effective in Crucible. But I mainly use it in PvE. I use this a lot during the 0-hour mission. It'll take out most enemies in that pretty easily, and it also does great damage versus the boss at the very end. Now, like I said, the only way to get this is via the Berguzia Forge here in the EDZ. And I think most players kind of struggle with that because the game does not do a good job of recommending that that's the only way you can get it. But make no doubt about it, that's the only way you can get this weapon is via a powerful frame and via the Berguzia Forge. So right now I'm here in this campsite, and you'll notice that right below me is the Berguzia Forge. Again, you have to go to Ada 1. You have to get a powerful frame from her. You cannot get this with any other frame. It can be any weapon type, but it's got to be a powerful frame via our resident Black Armory vendor. You can get a powerful frame by getting a ballistics log. I may have one of those on my character. Let me find out right now. But you can buy 2 per week. So if you have 3 characters, at most you could have 6 chances per week to get this weapon. I know there is a bit of RNG with that, and in my experience, based on the comments I've gotten, the drop rate is anywhere from 15 to 20%. I don't know the exact number, but don't get discouraged. I know it can take a while, but it is an awesome weapon to get. Just make sure that you finish every single frame, every single powerful frame over in the Berguzia Forge. This one is more or less like a master forge. You can finish any weapon type there. So no matter what, if the machine gun says finish it at Volander, don't go to Volander, go to Berguzia. That'll give you a chance at getting the Jotun fusion rifle. So this is one of my favorite weapons in the game. Those are the 5 weapons that I recommend. We've gone over the Outbreak Perfected, Jotun, Whisper of the Worm, 21 Delirium, Recluse. I know there's so many weapons I left out. You have weapons like Night Watch, you have weapons like Mountaintop, Revoker. These are all weapons I recommend. Even something like Bad Juju. I will make another video. This video I'm going to make coming up is going to be the top 5 sleeper weapons that I recommend. These are weapons that I think are going to be really useful in the new Shadowkeep environment. Weapons that may have been really good before that have gotten slept on, or weapons that, based on the changes that have been outlined, could be really effective when Shadowkeep comes out. So be on the lookout for that. I want to thank everybody for watching. I appreciate all the support here. It means a lot to me with this channel, and I am so proud of where we're at. I'm also looking forward to where we're going to go. So I hope you guys are with me every step of the way. Thank you so much for watching. I cannot wait to play Shadowkeep with you guys, and we'll see you when that comes out on October 1st. All right, see you guys.